disability, the word is instantly associated with the word can't, with what is and is not possible, with limitations and with boundaries. And people with disabilities have to deal with these things every single day. And though maybe there are things that I shouldn't do as a person with epilepsy, there are so many things that I've adjusted to that I can do. And there are things that I never would have done had it not been for my disability. So in that light, epilepsy has allowed me to become exactly who I was meant to be. Walking alongside me on my journey, sometimes a friend, sometimes a foe, not defining or limiting me, but definitely guiding me, as I would not be the person that I am today, full of the love of service and advocacy, had it not been for the challenges and the mountaintop moments that epilepsy has brought me. I had my first seizure when I was 10 years old, and after a few more, I was officially diagnosed with epilepsy. It was very quick that we found out that seizures were only the tip of the iceberg in this disability, and that what lies beneath the surface is much greater. We found ourselves driving from Connecticut to Boston over 2.5 hours every 2 to 3 months for testing, scans, and all kinds of medications and adjustments. And for me, medication alone wasn't enough to manage my seizures. I also had to make lifestyle changes, right? I had to make sure that I was managing a delicate balance of getting enough hydration, sleeping enough, managing nutrition, of course, managing stress, which is extremely difficult to do when having seizures is so stressful. And my parents and I were constantly planning for the worst case scenario. What would we do right here, right now, if I had a seizure? And we lived every day with the goal to prevent one from happening. After all of our awesome efforts, unfortunately, my seizures still came. So, as I got older, my seizures only got worse. They got more frequent, more severe, and more intense. So, my now husband, Michael, and I did some extensive research, and we found the alternative option for brain surgery. Instead of controlling my seizures, it felt like they were controlling me. So, I needed to take a chance. After bringing it to my doctor, found out that I was a great candidate. So, right then and there, I decided to bet on myself and take a chance on a procedure that would be right for me and my body. And I would soon find out that that was the best bet I could have made, and advocating for myself to my doctor was life-changing. I had 2 8-hour brain surgeries over the course of 1 week. And not long after the second surgery, I would endure 2 more surgeries due to life-threatening complications. Let's just say that my first helicopter ride was, courtesy of Lifestar, and that, and that I am really fortunate to be standing up here on this stage in front of you today. Now, these emergencies were terrifying. They were not at all what I was expecting in this experience. I came into the hospital a strong athlete, and I left 20 pounds down, struggling to do everyday activities, tying my shoes, brushing my hair, and just walking from the car into the grocery store was exhausting. So, excuse me. Even though the hospital and those surgeries took my physical strength, I unlocked an inner strength so profound and divine, it is really difficult to put into words. The best way that I can put it to you is that I created an amazing connection and dialogue with God, and that it was one that I never knew I could have. And so this was so profound and so divine that I decided to focus on that strength, to focus on it, and the love of my supporters, my community, my friends and family along the way. I had a team of doctors, nurses, and therapists who helped me through the days that I could not help myself. They taught me humility and service to others. I had my parents. They uprooted their lives and sat by my side day and night, giving me the love and support and abiding by my positive energy rule, where I wouldn't let any negativity in the room. I can imagine that was pretty difficult for them, given they were helpless in this situation. They taught me what unconditional love and support looks like. And Michael, he drove from Connecticut to Boston every single day for a month, and just in hopes to see me for a few moments during a particularly difficult time in his academic career. And he taught me, and even in one instance, just bringing me enough joy, hopped me into a wheelchair, and we drag raced down the hallway to raid the snack room, laughing like our normal selves. He really stood by me during this time, and he taught me what true loyalty and commitment looks like. And Tommy, the little boy who was fighting his battle with stage 4 brain cancer down the hallway. Tommy and I met in physical therapy as we cheered each other on through our exercises in our rehab, and we quickly became pen pals and instant buddies. I witnessed Tommy and his family fight this battle with unwavering bravery and strength and faith. Tommy taught me to be strong, and he taught me to never give up. Now, in this situation, it could have been so easy for me to focus on the negative things. I mean, the really real threats that were there. Just all of the possible, threats, right? It was a hard situation. But this experience, this connection with God, and also the support of the people around me in my community, the love and support, they superseded. They were mountaintop moments. The French author René Daumal said, "You cannot stay on the summit forever. You have to come down the mountain again." So why bother climbing in the first place? There is an art of conducting oneself in the lower regions by the memory of what one saw higher up. What one can no longer see, one can at least still know. So somewhere in the humbling moments of suffering and in the cherished moments of hope, joy, and love came possibility for the future. I mean, hey, a possible cure for my epilepsy was in sight, right? So, as I made my way down my mountain, or home for good, I found myself with a clean slate, with nowhere to go but up, literally. So, as I regained my strength, I decided to become a facilitator for an epilepsy support group. I wanted to advocate and serve my community. One night on a call, I met a mother who spoke of her son with spina bifida and epilepsy. He was in great need of a service dog, and service dogs are very expensive, right? What a sweet one. So I put together a fundraiser called Climb for a Cause. Since my surgeries, I had set a personal goal to reach a literal mountaintop, which was Mount Washington in New Hampshire, which is the highest peak in New England. And this would have been something that I would not have been comfortable doing before my surgeries because of the lack of medical accessibility and really just the nature of my disorder at that time. So now I had the opportunity to come back with more strength than ever and to help raise $18,000 for our kiddo. I could have said, $18,000, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can do that. Or, even more importantly, I could have said, is it worth the risk after such a long health journey? But I had already reached my mountaintop where I felt the love and support of others come around me in my time of need. And I knew that I could bring that same experience to someone else. And we sure did. My team and I raised over $25,000 in just over a month. And our little kiddo is living with his service dog, sleeping in his own bed at night with more freedom and security than ever before. Yeah. Yeah, right? When I reached the summit that day and took in the hazy view at the top of the mountain, where I placed an engraved stone in memory of my hospital pen pal, Tommy, I took a big deep breath and had a moment of gratitude and love. Life is to be cherished, and each day is truly a gift. I learned that I do not have to be defined or limited by my disability, and that I could do pretty powerful and awesome things. I also learned that I could choose how to view my disability, and that we can help people in big, pretty big, right, and small ways, and that we can achieve goals that we may never have dreamt possible. Now, that was the ultimate mountaintop moment, but as our French author René Damal said, I had to come down the mountain again, right? But from that time on, I knew that service and advocacy would make their way down that mountain with me and lead my journey. All the love and support that I had received from my family and my team, the lessons I had learned, the challenges I had faced, and yes, the guidance of my disability would change the direction of my life, both personally and professionally. So even though my surgeries didn't fully cure my epilepsy, they did allow me to stay seizure-free for over 4.5 years. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty special thing. Yeah, very grateful for that. They've also allowed me to pursue a career as a coach and a mental health therapist for people with chronic conditions and epilepsy. So, even though epilepsy will always walk alongside me on my journey, I will always have to control my triggers and try to, do the best I can with my disorder. I also know that epilepsy has allowed me to help people in a very unique way, both as an advocate for our community and in service to our community. So, as the advocate I am, I would like you to know that 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy in their lifetime. Look around this room. That's a big number, right? Now, with those odds, you may come across this disability and also find yourself in a position to help. I encourage you to join me in advocating for our community by educating yourself on the simple steps of how to help someone who's in a seizure emergency. You could save someone's life. And as the coach I am, I would like to challenge you. Hey, what mountain are you climbing, right? What challenges are you facing? What obstacles are in your way? And what goal are you trying to reach? I encourage you to think about what limitations you might be placing on yourself that are keeping you from reaching your mountaintop. How can you maybe just change the view, look at it differently so that you can reach your mountaintop? And if you've already reached a mountaintop moment or two, you know what moment I'm talking about, right? What have you witnessed and learned that you can bring down that mountaintop with you and use in the world today? Remembering that what one can no longer see, one can at least still know. Thank you.